So I did want to talk about one more thing. Last time, at the end of the Subnautica stream, I picked a random number for what game we were going to be playing next, and I chose 94. And 94 correlated to RoboCraft 2. Now, RoboCraft 2 is another game that I was pretty excited for because it was a game I had never opened. So RoboCraft 1, I played when it probably also 10 years ago when it came out. Like I probably played that game in like 2015 or 2016. Like it was a long time ago. And I went to go download it between that last stream and this stream, and I realized RoboCraft 2 can't be downloaded. It's not on Steam anymore. So I went on a whole quest trying to figure out what happened to it because I was figuring, oh, if RoboCraft 2 is not out yet, I know it had been in like development for a really long time. So I was just like, if RoboCraft 2 isn't out yet, like that's not a big deal. We can pivot and we can play RoboCraft 1 instead. So I went to look at RoboCraft 1 and we also cannot play RoboCraft 1. So finding that out, I went on a full mission to figure out what's going on. And I realized we have not one but 3 games are currently caught with this issue. Okay, so before we get into what happened to these games, I realized I want to go over at least RoboCraft 2. RoboCraft 1 before we get to RoboCraft 2. So RoboCraft 1 was a game, it was kind of a block-based game. It was basically like a game where you could design a robot. It would have shields, it would have guns, it could have motors, it could have wheels or like wings or hover pads, like literally so many different things. And you could just design a ship however you wanted it to, and then you would be playing as that ship in a game. So you would go into the game and you'd be fighting against other people who have built their own ships, and it was just general like random things. There'd be like team deathmatch, and there'd be like King of the Hill or like zone control and like a bunch of different game modes. And I remember playing this, like I said, years and years and years ago, and it kind of just fell out of fashion with me. Like it fell out of favor with me, I suppose. And so when I heard RoboCraft 2 was coming out, I wishlisted it on Steam, and I'd gotten it during early access, but I never played it. So RoboCraft 2, I presume, is really similar. And I don't know what happened to it. I know it's similar, but I do know what happened to it now, but I don't know what any of it was actually like because I never got to play it. So now I want to actually talk about what happened to RoboCraft 1. So RoboCraft 2014 was, I believe, when it was released. Major game update. So it was at least out in 2014. 2015 was kind of the golden age, and 2016, as far as I can understand, this was the golden age of the game in the developer's eyes. 2017, less stuff happened. 2018, apparently just nothing happened. But I guess they were working on this big update for 2019. Irrelevant. RoboCraft 2 gets announced in 2023. Oh, sorry. RoboCraft 2 gets announced 2019. In 2023, RoboCraft 2 gets released in early access, but it gets mostly negative reviews complaining about lack of content, slow combat, underwhelming weapons, no team communication or party system, and performance optimization issues. So just generally, it wasn't received well. RoboCraft 2 was not the successor to RoboCraft 1 that I guess the community was looking for. So this was November that RoboCraft 2 was released in early access, but in January 22nd, the next year, it's only like 2 months later, they announced that they just decided to rebuild the game from the ground up to make it to the 2014-2015 era that I was talking about earlier. So they just decided to scrap everything they had so far and redo it. This is January 22nd of 2024. On February 2nd of 2024, it was delisted from digital platforms. On June 6th, it was announced that there was going to be a closed playtest for RoboCraft 2 planned on the next day. But nothing ever followed that. There was that playtest, as far as I can tell, never actually happened. Then the following year, very early the next year, Free Jam Games, the company that owns RoboCraft 1 and 2, was announced that they were closing. They were just shutting down, and RoboCraft 2 never got released into full access. So what that means is we just can't play RoboCraft 1 or RoboCraft 2. We just simply can't actually test them to put them on our list. And I actually looked at some of the other games that they had made, and I realized these are the games that they made. So we actually not only lose 2 games, we're actually going to lose 3 games from this. So we lose RoboCraft 1, RoboCraft 2, and Card Life. And since I didn't get to talk about Card Life yet, I'm going to briefly mention what I remember about that game. And we're going to see, just because I think it deserves mentioning on the rewind before we put all of these games in their category. Card Life, from what I remember, was a survival game where the whole thing was everything was made out of cardboard. So you got to design your own weapons and characters. Like, you cut it out of cardboard. And that's all I remember. It was just a survival game. I don't remember getting that far into it. But at the same time, I do know I have quite a few hours in it. I have 8.5 hours on Card Life. RoboCraft 1, I have 64 hours. And RoboCraft 2, I never even opened. So I do think we have to talk about, now that the games are dead, what category do they go into? So obviously we weren't able to actually test any of these games today, but I don't think that's going to stop me from ranking them. I think they still deserve a rank. And I think actually all 3 of these games are going to deserve the same rank. I think we're going to give RoboCraft 1 a D. RoboCraft 2, we're going to give a D, and Card Life, we're also going to give a D. The reason I'm giving all of them the same grade and all D is because D stands for dead, and the games are dead. So we can't even play them. We can't test them. The games have literally died. I think D is just going to be the category of dead games. And I'm specifically reserving category F for games that are so bad they are worse than the games that are dead. Somehow they're worse. So we're saving that category for later. But that's it. All 3 of those games that we were going to play, or not all 3 of the games, but the games that we were going to play, and 2 collateral games we find out are dead, and we can't have them be a part of the rewind. I figured the last thing to do for today's stream is pick the next game that we're going to play. So we have 151 games left. So if we do a random number generator from 1 to 141, we're going to randomly generate, and we're going to get number 76. What is 76? 76 is Pavlov, which is a VR game. And if I remember correctly, might also be dead. I'm not going to look at that now, but if we are playing a new game again, I'll let you know at the beginning of next stream, or at the beginning of the next video.